Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Happy 4th of July. Yes, it is 4th of July. I hope everybody tonight gets to enjoy some fireworks, gets to enjoy some barbecue with the family, gets to hang out, gets to relax, and remember what the United States is really all about, who we really are. And I really hope people in this country come together and realize, listen, we used to be a proper country where we had patriotism and we loved our country. We loved the flag. We stood up for our nation. And the word nationalism wasn't a dirty word because we all believe that America is the best country in the world. I hope we believe that. And we don't want it becoming something that is, shall we say, akin to a socialist, disgusting nation where we don't have freedom of speech. We don't have freedom to bear arms and all the freedoms that are embedded in the Constitution. But as far as the news today, ladies and gentlemen, rumors are still swirling about Joe Biden. They haven't stopped all over the news. What's happening with Biden? I was really hoping we could put this to rest by now because I'm really tired of talking about Joe Biden. I'm probably more tired than Joe Biden is. And that's saying something because he nearly fell asleep in a presidential debate. So when I'm more tired of talking about Biden than Biden is more tired just as a person, that's pretty crazy. I'm exhausted. I'm sick of this. I don't want to talk about Kamala Harris anymore. Can we please not have a Kamala Harris potential Democratic ticket? Now, she probably won't win, but just the thought that she could and the possibility is there gives me anxiety. And I'm aging like those pictures that you see of presidents before and after they took office. That's how much anxiety I'm getting from thinking about a potential Kamala Harris ticket in the White House. More cackles. Cackling Harris. But the rumors are still swirling about Biden. We don't know yet. Is he staying or is he going? Is he going to drop dead in office? Is that what's going to happen with Biden? Because if he were to, if for some reason the hell froze over and Biden got elected, he would probably be the first president ever. Maybe I'm getting my history wrong. I don't know. I don't think there's another president to die in office. Was there another president? I don't even know. But that probably would happen to Joe Biden. And then we had the regime, the administration headed up by puffy-haired Karine Jean-Pierre, the lesbian, held a press conference to try to put rumors at rest that Biden was dropping out. And the press had an absolute field day with her, of course. It's like they held it back for so long. For so long, they were afraid of saying anything. I read that a lot of the press was talking about this idea that they thought if they said anything about Joe Biden in his clearly, obviously failing faculties, they thought they would be blacklisted by the White House. So they just held it in. What? Are you kidding me? So this is our hard-hitting press? Oh no, we might be banned by the White House. They might not let us in the door, so we're not going to say anything about something that everybody can see. Are you kidding me? That just sounds to me like it's an excuse. It's such manipulation of thinking. I don't believe that for a minute. I believe that probably happened, or that might have been kind of a sentiment, but that's not really why the press didn't report on Biden for so long. That's not the real reason. The real reason is because the press and the Democrats, the press to a large degree, I should say, not all of them, but the vast majority of them, they're all in collusion. That's just the facts of the matter. And they're not going to come out and bash on Joe Biden until it's strategic for them. And it just so happened that it was either strategic for them after the debate, or the debate and Biden's performance forced their hand. So this whole idea that they were just scared that the White House was, gonna blacklist them or whatever, it's so crazy. And even if that were true, it makes the press just look weak and incompetent. And we need more investigative, hard-hitting, like James O'Keefe type journalists out there. Like, what are we doing when our journalists are like little crybabies? Oh no, please don't ban me from the White House. What are you even doing then? You don't want to report on something that's obvious to literally the entire world. Yeah, it's just so crazy. Vivek, regardless of what Karine Jean-Pierre says, Vivek has said, this is his theory, and I tend to agree with it. And if you say, Andrew, you agree with like everything Vivek says, maybe that's true. Or maybe it's because Vivek he's so good at explaining things, I just can't help it, okay? Listen, I like Vivek. Sue me, okay? I like him. Am I being brainwashed by Vivek? That could be a possibility. I don't know. I just like the guy. He's logical. He really seems like he understands things on a deep level. Okay? Just listen. It is what it is. Could I be proven wrong in the future? Absolutely. Okay, guys. But he had this theory that the Democrats, because the Democrats right now are not saying that Biden will drop out. They're calling for him to drop out. There's a massive push for him to drop out. But nothing is set in stone. There's just rumors swirling viciously. Vicious rumors swirling everywhere. And he's saying this is for a reason. Now, maybe they kind of jumped the gun whenever Biden took did his debate. Maybe that kind of pushed things forward a little bit. But he thinks that the Democrats are biding time until closer to November, and there's a reason for this, so that they can prop up a candidate and rely on this like honeymoon phase, because if they put up another candidate, it takes time to do opposition research, right? I mean, to dig stuff up on people, it takes some time. You gotta, call people in their orbit. You gotta get a hold of them, dig up stuff on the internet. That all takes time, regardless of how much money you have. So the Democrats potentially could pop someone up. I don't know. What? Few weeks? October surprise, maybe? A month before the election. And the opposition research that Trump's campaign has and the RNC and the Republicans have is a minimum. Because no one really, I think, I would say for the most part, Republicans believe Biden is going to be replaced, but nobody really knows exactly who. It seems to be Kamala, but we don't know yet, though. That's just kind of what a lot of the prediction markets are saying. But if they were to put someone like Kamala or someone else up there just a month before the election, there's this initial honeymoon phase and people might turn out to vote more. So this could be a way that they're trying to manipulate the vote once again. Also, another big thing, and this is pretty sweet, they tried to make Trump look bad by doing this. But somebody leaked a video of Trump calling Kamala Harris effing terrible. It's like, yeah, of course. Does anybody not think that Kamala Harris is effing terrible? Everybody thinks this. This is the normal reaction when you hear anything that comes out of Kamala Harris's mouth. You automatically think, God, that's effing terrible. So it just made him more relatable. I'll play that video for you in a little bit. Absolutely more relatable. He's just on the golf course. He's chilling. He's hanging out, and somebody that's talking to him must have a phone or something, and they're videotaping Donald Trump. I mean, they should ban that guy from the golf course ASAP. But, he released this leaked video. And then Karine Jean-Pierre in the press conference that they gave, I'll play that for you as well, says Kamala is the future of the party. See, when I heard that, in my brain, I heard effing terrible. So, I mean, it's just how it goes, guys. It's just how it goes. Imagine hearing that cackle. If by some really cruel twist of fate, Kamala Harris became the president of the United States, imagine her starting off press conference, because she's probably going to give more press conferences than Biden. I would say 100%. She's a woman. She likes attention, Imagine, good morning, America. Oh, no. Let me cut off my ears, please. So, yeah, guys, it's going to be a wild few months, and we're about to see what's going to happen. I don't know. But let's start off with the big one. Donald Trump. Leaked video of Donald J. Trump at the golf course talking about, hey, it's kind of crazy that they're even considering Kamala Harris, because this is someone that's going to have to deal with all sorts of really higher up people in China, in Russia. I forget how he puts it. He didn't say cruel, ruthless. I think he said ruthless. These people in China, in Russia, Vladimir Putin, these are ruthless, smart people. And you're going to put cackling Kamala Harris to deal with them? Listen.
You gave me so much. How did I do with the debate the other night?
Oh, amazing.
He kicked that old broken down pile of crap.
Yeah.
It's a bad guy. He just quit, He's quitting the race.
Is that right?
Yep, I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic.
It's so amazing.
It's just so fucking bad. So
I just can't imagine.
But can you imagine that guy dealing with Putin and the president of China, who's a fierce person? He's a fierce man.
Right.
A very tough guy, and they see him. They probably he can't. But they just announced he's probably quitting.
Good.
Very good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Just keep knocking him out, huh?
You hear that at the end? I'm just going to keep knocking him out. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Keep knocking him out. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you. You do so much for us. Happy 4th of July. And by the way, look at that. Hold on. Look at this. If you look right over his shoulder, that's the Trump giant right there. That's Baron Trump. That's Trump. Baron, the Baron of the Trump family right there. What a guy. He's about 6'7". Crazy stuff. But even though, wait a second, I clicked on the wrong one. This is the one I really wanted to click on. Even though Karine Jean-Pierre, poofy hair, Karine Jean-Pierre, lesbian, even though they say that, and Vivek and Trump and others say that there's no way Biden is going to be the nominee. Karine Jean-Pierre, the Biden campaign, the Democrat Party, are sending out emails stating that Joe Biden is staying in the race and will be the nominee, however. So is this real? Are they trying to just kind of calm everyone down and then, like Vivek is saying, just a month before the election, here you go, here's Kamala, here you go, here's Gavin Newsom. What's happening with this? But this is a internal email that was leaked by ALX. It says, Joe Biden is in. This is from the Democratic Party. A short while ago, President Biden and Vice President Harris got on a campaign all-staff call and ended any speculation by the pundits about his future. He's staying in. He is a leader of the Democrat Party. That's awesome. I'm personally, I don't know about you, but I am personally riding with Biden. I believe that Biden should be in there. I do, 100%. Because if Biden's in there, come on. It seems like it's a straight shot for Trump in the White House. If we're with him, not only is he going to win, but we're going to elect the Democrats up and down the ballot this fall. Okay, that sounds a little bit delusional. And this came directly from the Biden-Harris campaign. And, of course, it's probably an email that Biden wrote himself. I mean, I don't see any evidence to the contrary. Because it says, look right here. It's speaking in the first person. So Biden probably typed out this email himself. I'm running. Alex, I know the past few days have been tough. I'm sure you're getting a lot of questions, and I'm sure many of you have questions as well. So let me say this as clearly and simply as I can. I'm running. I'm the Democrat Party's nominee. Not only is no one is pushing me out, I'm leaving, not leaving. I'm in this race to the end, and we are going to win this election. If that's all you need to hear, pitch me in a few bucks and help Kamala and me defeat Trump in November. So, yeah, that's how I imagine that went. If you guys have seen this recently, more leaked stuff from the Biden campaign, from the Democrat, because there's this faction of Democrats who are really trying to push Biden out, and the heels are dug in on the Biden campaign, the Biden administration. You probably already saw this graph. I don't know. This came out like 2 days ago. I wasn't able to do a live yesterday morning, but I found this graph absolutely fascinating. Now, what you're looking at is polling numbers. I guess it's not. Is it a graph, really? It's like, it's a graphical representation of polling numbers before and after the debate. So we have pre-debate margin. If you look on this left side of the cross right here, we have state cumulative EVs, post-debate margin, pre-debate margin, margin drop. So pre-debate margin is right here. My cursor is not showing, so you can't see where my cursor is. But if you look, there's a post-debate, pre-debate, and then the margin drop. And this is pretty incredible. After the debate, Colorado dropped by almost 2 points, Minnesota 2 points, Maine 2 points, New Mexico 2 points, Virginia 2.1 points, New Hampshire 2.3, Wisconsin almost 2. I mean, there is a clear effect of that debate. This is the clear effect of that debate. And this is one of the things that have been leaked that is causing absolute panic within the Democrat Party right now. Now, when I say leaked, this is not something that would have ever come out before. This is just so happens that we don't know who yet, but there is a faction in the party that just really wants Biden out. They're like, there's no way. And for some reason, the Biden administration and this other side is digging in. We don't know why yet. Is it real, or are they just kind of playing it up for the cameras? No one really knows. But CNN is not relenting on their attacks on Biden. Van Jones, came out and said, behind the scenes, there is a full-blown panic in the Democrat Party. Now, those are some strong words. I don't know if you guys know what the words full-blown means, but that means it's a big, massive, it's a big panic. Full-blown, those two words together, means that it's a pretty serious panic going on in the Democrat Party.
Look, I'm just going to be honest. I mean, everybody comes on the air and says all this great stuff, but behind the scenes, it's a full-scale panic. People
full scale.
Passing around legal memos, PDFs are flying back and forth on WhatsApp, trying to figure out what are the options, how can you replace Biden, how do you get him to do it in a way where he feels respected as he should be respected, who should Kamala Harris's vice president be. The conversation on air and the conversation off air are completely different. And so it's the same thing you saw with the Trump situation.
That's how it always is, though, right? You say one thing on air, you draw one little, you try to paint one reality on air, but behind the scenes, the reality that is actually kind of playing out is completely different. They're acting like, oh yeah, this is what a unique situation where there's a conversation going on behind the scenes and a completely different conversation going on the air. No, that's literally every day. Like, I mean, I realize that media, that's kind of like the norm and that happens. And to me, it's not that happens. It's the scale to which it happens on mainstream media. On mainstream media, what is actually happening and what they portray on air is so insanely decoupled from reality. It's akin to either brainwashing or gaslighting. And I really believe it's causing some people to go insane. I 100% believe that. I believe it is causing people to go nuts. And maybe for the health of the country, everybody should just stop watching these mainstream media channels. To me, it's just like performance art. I just like putting up these people talking, like Van Jones and these other Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid. I just like putting them up on my channel, on my videos, because to me, they're funny. It's like, hey, look at what this person said. Isn't that just so funny? Like, we can obviously see that's a freaking lie, but they are telling it to like millions of people in the United States. But I digress.
Where people would come on air and defend Trump, and then you talk to people, and we got a crazy candidate. We don't have a crazy candidate. We have a great candidate. We have a beautiful man. We have someone who loves this country.
Beautiful man.
Someone who has given his all. I mean,
I believe this was filmed post Biden's address about the presidential immunity. And that was when he was wearing that orange, bronzer like Trump. And now Van Jones is calling him a beautiful man. Listen, I am simply connecting the dots. Okay. I'm not saying that correlation equals causation, but I'm just saying the correlation is there.
I mean, his all to the last drop for this country, but he may not be able to get across the finish line. And a mature party has to take that into account, and that is what's happening. And so, look, I understand people want to, defend him and protect him and give him the space and the dignity to make his own choice. But there is a big conversation happening right now about how this happens, not whether.
I agree with him on that, but I don't think it's going to have anything to do with what Joe Biden wants. I think it's going to have everything to do with timing it at the perfect time. AP News, however, they came out with this article, and it's, if you just look at the headline, I mean, if you want to laugh, look at the headline. Biden at 81, often sharp and focused, but sometimes confused and forgetful. Let me get rid of a couple of these elements here because this is kind of getting in the way. There we go. Biden's conduct behind closed doors in the Oval Office, on Air Force One, and in meetings around the world is described in the same dual way by those who regularly see him in action. He is often sharp and focused. Yeah, so when he is described by people who have an interest in him running and being in power, when he's described behind closed doors, he is sharp and focused. But when you see him in public, that just does not apply. So it's very interesting how when he is described, it's sharp and focused. So when you can't verify it, he's sharp and focused. But, you know, when he comes out in public, he has his flubs and he looks pretty off. So this is what they like to rely on. You've got to rely on someone's word that he's sharp and focused. But he also has moments, particularly later in the evening, when his thoughts seem to be jumbled and he trails off mid-sentence or seems confused. Sometimes he doesn't grasp the finer points of policy details. He occasionally forgets people's names, stares blankly and moves slowly around the room. Biden's occasional struggles with focus may not be unusual for someone his age, but at 81 years old and seeking another 4 years in the White House, the moments when he's off his game have taken on a fresh resonance following his disastrous debate performance against Trump. The president appeared pale, gave nonsensical answers, stared blankly, and all of that. So yeah, we all saw that. So is he dropping out or not? Vivek says almost certainly. He is almost certainly dropping out. And listen to his take on the matter. Vivek was one of the ones that really called this early. I mean, I'm honestly, like, when I say one of the ones, I think we all had a question in our mind if it was actually going to really be Biden. But Vivek was one of the ones that came out like on a super public stage and said it. So that's kind of going a step further. He was saying it when nobody else said it on that debate stage for the Republicans. And he just came out and just put it all out there. He's like, listen, quit lying to everybody and saying that you're actually running Biden for president. Because everyone knows that you're not. But this is what his take on the matter is. And I thought it was very interesting. Oh, wait. Sorry, guys. I guess I have to unmute this for you, don't I? Here we go.
Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, maybe Kamala Harris. We're told she's at the governor meeting. Walk to that microphone and what we think will be support for Joe Biden, but who knows? You know, my question to you, is this, checking in with the president, or is this really kind of a wellness check?
This is the beginning of a process, Kayleigh. There is no way Biden's able to go forward. With this type of rift with the main institution that's given him cover, the mainstream media, it is done. It's only a question of when. I think they're not in a rush to do it. The longer it goes between now and late August, the better it is for them, because whoever the new candidate is, they're going to have a honeymoon phase with the public. No doubt about it. It's like the feeling that somebody who's been a tortured prisoner might have with respect to the person who releases them. That's going to be their attitude towards whoever succeeds Joe Biden. They want the election to occur within that honeymoon period. So you're going to see these hoops that they jump through. I think it's going to be a steady decline. But at the end of the day, there's no path forward for Biden. What I want Democrats at home to ask themselves, though, and independents to ask themselves is, how could they possibly have lied for this long? If they lied for this long about Biden's fitness, what else are they also lying to us about now? Who is actually running the government in the United States of America? And the sad truth is, Kayleigh, we lack a good answer to that question. And I think we, the people, deserve honesty in this country. That's not a left-wing or a right-wing point. And I think that's the most important question right now to come out of all of this.
You know, a lot's weighing down on the president. You have these Democrat lawmakers coming out one by one. You have internal polling that is coming out of the Biden campaign that is suggesting states like New Mexico are in jeopardy. States like New Hampshire, that Biden won by 7. New Mexico, he won by 11. Virginia, he won by 10. So you've got this polling crushing in. And then also you have more and more reporting. Now the New York Times saying Democrat megadonor Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings calls on Biden to step aside. What is the straw that breaks the camel's back? Is it the polls? Is it the donors? Is it the lawmakers?
Reed Hastings, who also writes the check to Barack Obama, by the way. So this is a whole network in their Netflix deals. The reality is this. This is the risk for our party, is that we focus on this, Kayleigh, instead of actually saying this is who we are and what we stand for. The reality is complacency is now the Republicans' greatest risk. We have many people on our side celebrating like this thing is over. I think this thing has not even yet begun. That's the attitude we need to keep in mind. This race has not yet started. Complacency is not an option. And a lot of these distracting shenanigans, here we are talking about what the Democrats are going to do, that may risk taking us off our game on who we are and what we stand for, and heading both into the convention and heading into November. That's where I think Republicans need to keep their eye on the ball, is our own agenda.
I completely agree with him. A lot of Republicans are looking at this as if it's a win, and it is in a way. I believe it is a win in a way, but a lot of people, including kind of myself, were like, okay, it's over. The Democrat Party is in chaos. Biden looks weak. If they switch him out, it's just way too much chaos. But what you got to realize is the Democrat Party, they exist in chaos. They are chaos. And that's one of their, I guess, strengths, the chaos. And everyone around them, they're okay with that. Because it's not about the individual, it's the collective. So when the person running the chaos comes up and says, hey, this is what we're going to do, they all decide that's what they're going to do. Even if it causes their lives, their personal lives, to be chaotic. I mean, that's just how it goes. They can vote for something that's completely against their best interests, causes their lives to be worse, more chaotic, and they will still do it. Because of why? Because of emotions, really. That's really the platform of the Democrat Party. Emotions, not logic. Also, guys, we had some kind of rumors about what happens to Biden's cash if he were to drop out of the race. And I wondered this as well. Some people are saying, well, if Biden were to drop out, it would have to be Kamala Harris because they have all this campaign cash. And this is why Kamala Harris will be put up and pushed forward as the Democrat nominee, because it can't go to anybody else. Well, according to this Hill article, it's not quite that simple. I'll read a little bit of this for you guys. So, as Biden's support among Democrats falter, questions are swirling about what would happen to the tens of millions of dollars in his campaign committee. Biden for president. Should the president step aside for another nominee? Doggett, Democrat of Texas, became the first House Democrat to call for Biden to drop out Tuesday. And while Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Speaker Emerita, what does that even mean? What is a Speaker Emerita? Is that something I don't know? But Nancy Pelosi has doubled down on her support for the president. She told MSNBC Tuesday that it is a fair question for voters to ask if the president has a condition or if his debate performance was just an episode. The Biden campaign said there was $240 million in the team Biden-Harris war chest, which include the campaign Democrat National Committee and joint fundraising committees at the end of June. Neither campaign nor the DNC responded to questions from the Hill about how much of that was parked in the president's campaign versus the National Party Committee. While the DNC would still control the party's committee funds, Biden would have control over his campaign committee's slice of that overall total, rather. Although the exact breakdown won't be reported to the FEC until later this month. The campaign said it had nearly $91.6 million in cash on hand as of May 31st in its most recent report to the FEC, while the DNC said it had $65.2 million. Campaign finance lawyers said the Biden campaign and the president himself would have a number of available avenues for the campaign committee cash if he does drop out or is otherwise unable to run. But all would run through Biden. And here is the quote from this guy. He's connected with Vivek somehow. So he, I guess, has a legal mind and knows about these things. He says even if Biden is not the nominee, he would have the authority to direct his campaign treasurer on what to do with the remnant funds. Whether that is a full transfer to the DNC to a super PAC supporting the new nominee or parsed out to contribution limits to various other campaigns with the balance to the DNC or a super PAC. Steve Roberts, partner at Holtzman Vogel and former general counsel on Vivek Ramaswamy's presidential campaign. It could all go to Kamala Harris. It could all go to the DNC or anything in between, said Moore, who is a senior fellow at a think tank called Center for American Progress. So, as you know, as you can see, it's not as simple as just this money can't go to another candidate. So they're gonna pop up Kamala Harris. But there was a press conference held by good old KJP here. She came out to put some of these rumors to rest about Joe Biden. Didn't go too well for her. I mean, she probably knew that, but they had to do something. You can't just stick your head in the sand and expect it all to go away. So, Karine Jean-Pierre is the piñata for the press right now. And they're just, it's like they have all this pent-up aggression from years of having to be reined in by the Biden regime and not being able to call it out, you know? So they just let it all loose during this press conference. It's like, could you imagine being cucked by the Biden administration as a reporter? How could you have any self-respect to go to these press conferences and never push back? I think that's why we see such a onslaught in the press right now, because people, they have really hammered down their own self-respect for so long. They've had to toe the party line for so long because, once again, the press and the Democrat Party are like two sides of the same coin. Most of the press. So for so long, they've had to keep quiet. They couldn't say anything, even though they saw it. And this is the normal job of a reporter, of a journalist. Their job is to report to the public, not just news, not just things that happen, but things that the powers that be don't want the average person to know. And in this case, in the case of Joe Biden, one of the things that the administration, the regime did not want the public to know is that Joe Biden was feeble and old and, failing. And it just so happened to be hidden in plain sight. And only the ones who really relied on their own interpretation of reality recognized it. I mean, just the ones who trusted their own eyes. It's like you go outside and you see a bird fly in front of you and you're like, oh yeah, that's a bird. It just flew in front of me. But this other group of people in the United States, they walk outside, they see a bird fly in front of them. They have to check CNN first to make sure that bird actually flew in front of their eyes. It's incredible stuff. But complete media onslaught at this press conference. I'll play you a full clips. They are getting their jabs in. This reporter asked for, this is how it's kind of portrayed here. We would invite the president to come here and tell us, because the reporters want Biden to talk to them in person. And This other reporter says, if he's awake. And Karine Jean-Pierre laughs and says that's inappropriate. So, you got to feel kind of sorry for KJP here a little bit. I mean, she's lied for so long, she doesn't even know what the truth is. But sometimes it bubbles up to the surface. Listen.
And we would invite the president to come here and tell us that directly.
Noted, Kelly.
But
he's awake.
You
catch that?
As you heard from your colleague, the president of the WHA, that's inappropriate. Thank you, Kelly.
And we would invite the president to come here and tell us that directly.
Noted, Kelly.
Play it again.
But
he's awake. If he's awake.
that's inappropriate.
As you heard from your colleague, the president of the WHA, that's inappropriate. Thank you, Kelly.
Is it though? Is it though? I don't think it is though. I honestly don't believe it's inappropriate. When it's, it might be inappropriate normally, but when it's the leader of our country and there are some very, obvious concerns that everybody has, and the regime is trying to pretend like those aren't there, you've got to say these things. You have to. It's not inappropriate. But their excuse for the debate, according to Karine Jean-Pierre, was that Biden was jet lagged and had a cold. That's why Joe Biden performed so badly, because he was traveling, became jet lagged, had a cold, but, he spent 10 days at Camp David, so I guess he couldn't recover in those 10 days. I don't know, but this is a string of excuses that Karine Jean-Pierre had to say.
The president blamed jet lag for his debate performance, but he was back stateside for well over a week. So does he really need more than a week and a half to recover from traveling in Europe? And is that really what he thinks caused his poor debate performance?
So, yeah, just a couple of things, and I do appreciate the question because the president has certainly spoken to this many times about the debate, and so he had an opportunity to do that in front of supporters, and as you just stated, he did that. He owned that the debate was not his best night, and he said himself, it's not an excuse, but it's an explanation. I was standing here yesterday, and many people were asking why and what's the explanation.
I love that. I absolutely love that. It's not an excuse, it's an explanation. Next time you show up to work late and you start to tell your boss, well, this happened, that happened, and he says, I don't want excuses, just show up on time. All you have to say is, listen, it's not an excuse, it's just a simple explanation. I mean, that's just golden words right there. Let's see how that works out for you. You should try that.
And that's what you heard from him. Look, the two, I think, in addition to the two major trips, he was also continued to do his presidential duties. He worked late in doing that, and he also prepared for the debate. And on top of that, there was obviously the jet lag, as you just asked about, and also he had a cold. And you all heard directly, you heard from him during the debate. He had a hoarse voice. Many of you reached out to me and my team and some other members of the White House asking what was going on. We confirmed that he had a cold. And so I think those two things, continuing obviously to do his duties as commander-in-chief, as the president. And so I think some of you here in this room can certainly relate to...
I mean, we've all had colds.
What could happen?
You can all relate to Joe Biden. We've all had colds. I'm sure some of you in the room can relate to having a cold, right? Come on, guys. Show some empathy for your president, for your regime.
Happen when you're having an important moment and you're not feeling well, and also you wish you could have done better. And so he took ownership. I think that's important. And he's going to continue to make a strong case for his agenda, and that's what you're going to see. And he was given an explanation, and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get that out there and for people to hear directly from him, as he has been doing since since Friday of last week.
Thanks, Fuzzy Head. Thank you, Poofy Head. I really appreciate it. But I do have one question. If Joe Biden, if he had a cold and he was hoarse and all these other things, why did you guys bring him to Waffle House right after? I mean, wasn't the Biden administration and all these Democrats, weren't they all concerned about COVID, and spreading sickness? So if he really had a cold, why did he walk into a Waffle House straight through the door himself, and he was surrounded by, maybe 35 people? They're just everywhere. And I don't know if you've been in a Waffle House before. They're not very big. They're pretty small. They're small, fairly small restaurants. It's like a diner. Like a diner chain. They're not big. There's not like Applebee's where you walk in and there's tables everywhere. No, they're small. So he walks in to the restaurant and there's people everywhere crowded around him. And he's got a cold? Wait, what? Something just doesn't add up. And that's what one of these other reporters brought up as well.
To clarify Sungmin's question,
Sure.
How is it that the president was still tired 12 days after returning from Europe, had a cold, but then went to the Waffle House, and then the following day staged such a huge comeback that he gave those North Carolina remarks? Help us understand.
His meds kicked in.
Of course it had.
Okay, so you probably come on, Jackie. Let's be very. Let's be.
12 days.
Listen, she's like witnessing getting stabbed in the back. Karine Jean-Pierre has probably dealt with Jackie before, and for so long, Jackie has had to hold it in about Joe Biden. And finally, she's gotten her marching orders from the overlords in the Democratic Party or whoever the heck is pushing for this in the media. And Karine Jean-Pierre is like, listen, Jackie, I thought we were friends. Come on, Jackie. Come on. I thought we were buddies. Remember for so long you spread propaganda about the Biden administration? Come on, Jackie. But Jackie is not having it. Jackie grew a pair, okay? And Karine Jean-Pierre is feeling betrayed in this moment.
Return though,
But
and
you
he blamed
also-
jet lag yesterday.
Hold on a second. There's a cold. There's a jet lag. You combine that. He continues to work for the American people, day in and day out, around the clock. Things happen.
To clarify Sungmin's question, how
Things just happen, Jackie. Come on, Jackie. But one thing that was really pretty concerning that was said during this press conference is apparently Karine Jean-Pierre let something slip. And if this is in fact true, oh man, we are in for a rocky few months, ladies and gentlemen. Get your earplugs ready. Or if you like cackles, I guess you don't have to buy earplugs. I personally don't like cackling women. Okay, and that is exactly what Kamala Harris is. Her medicine cabinet must be absolutely insane, okay? It's got to be insane. What kind of loopy pills does she have in her medicine cabinet? But this lady, she makes loopy people look good. Normally, loopy people, you call them loopy. We should come up with a whole new word for Kamala Harris. She's got to be on some crazy medication to make her act this way. But, I digress. Karine Jean-Pierre said at this press conference that it's Kamala Harris who is, in fact, the future of the Democratic Party, despite Kamala Harris having abysmally low polling. Nobody likes her. She polls right down there with Joe Biden. She's incredibly disliked. Like Donald Trump says, she speaks in rhymes. The bus goes there, the bus goes here, and that's because that's what buses do. It's just like, what? People listen to Kamala Harris, and it's just like, you're like, your brain is turned around in a circle. You're like, what is she even talking about? her one phrase that she likes. I'm probably gonna butcher it. Don't let what is to be burdened by what. I don't even remember. Don't let what can be burdened by what has been. Something like that. I don't know. She loves that saying though. But this is Karine Jean-Pierre saying that Kamala Harris, in fact, old Cackling Kamala, is the future of the Democrat Party. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I just ask one other broader question? The president, and I know you'll remember this, back in 2020, referred to himself as a transition candidate. He also said back then that he would be a bridge to the next generation of Democratic leaders. Does he still believe that?
Yes, I mean, I think his statement stands. I mean, one of the reasons why he picked the vice president, President Kamala Harris, is because she is indeed the future of the party. And he's very proud to have partnered with her and continue to partner with her in delivering an unprecedented record for the American people. And I think he's going to continue certainly to do that. They're going to do that as partners. Like I said, I just saw them before walking into the briefing room. They stopped by to talk to me and my team, and they're ready to go. They're ready to continue.
Great. Future of the party. Kamala Harris, who she has jumped on, this was a while ago, she jumped on the pronoun train. I don't know if you remember this town hall with Kamala Harris. You guys are interested in more Alphabet Mafia stuff. This is your potential next Democrat nominee.
Good to see you, Senator. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
How are you? And thank you, guys. And my pronouns are she, her, and hers.
She, her, and her? Mine, too.
Okay, guys. I'm not a big fan of Chris Cuomo, but him saying mine, too, in that situation is a Chad move. Absolute baller move. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. Thanks, Kamala. Appreciate it. I was wondering. We were wondering. She, her, hers. Appreciate it. I hate that stuff. But to close out the program for this beautiful July 4th, what is today? Thursday. Forgot what day it was again, guys. Oh no. I want to show you guys this. If you've ever wanted to learn how to cook a turkey, refer to this video right here. Kamala Harris. Here, let me change the view right here so we can get the full effect. Kamala Harris describing how to cook a turkey. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. Oh, dang it. I had the perfect setup and I forgot to click unmute. Ladies and gentlemen, my gift to you this July the 4th.
Is getting a fresh turkey?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's being delivered
and
tomorrow.
So just little, 1 minute out. I have one minute.
Yeah.
Kosher salt, fresh ground pepper. Maybe chop up a little thyme. And then you can mix it even with, okay, so do the salt and pepper all over it, just lather that baby up, right?
Lather it.
On the outside, in the cavity.
Oh, in the cavity.
You could also chop up, but not with the thyme, just the salt and pepper.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Kamala.
Also with some thyme, you could even do a little rosemary if you want, under the skin with some butter before you're gonna cook it.
Uh-huh.
So that butter will just melt in there. And then get a nice big bottle of cheap white wine to baste with butter. Yes, hi.
Okay.
Yes. It's getting a fresh turkey.
Yo, her medicine cabinet has to be crazy. Oh, man, this lady is on another level. What goes on in her head? She'd probably be like, I feel like, she would be that fun aunt at like Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. She'd be kind of that fun, goofy aunt that just kind of like everyone thinks is a little bit nuts, but it's kind of fun to be around because she's just kind of a nutcase. Crazy. All right, guys, that is the show, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. let's get to some of the chat. See who is in the chat. Hey, guys, if you haven't liked the stream, liked the video yet, please, I would appreciate it if you do that. That helps me out a lot. That engages the algorithm. And if you would like to become a member and support the show, I think you have to do it like on your computer. YouTube doesn't have like the member button on. I think it's on iPhones. They don't have it. But you get that pretty sweet little badge like you see with Michelle here. She's got that Unwoke Thoughts badge right there. It's pretty sweet. So if you guys want that by your name, I mean, go ahead and throw me a bone. Get a membership. I have a chat room for all the members on Discord. Super secret, ultra secret chat room where we conspire about what's going on. But yeah, join, guys. Let's see who we got in the chat. Let me scroll up here. We got Michelle C, of course, in the chat. The best moderator in the entire world. Cindy Vance is in the chat. We need peace, says hyena for president. Hey, listen. Don't be mean to Kamala Harris, okay? Yes, she cackles like a hyena, but come on. She is an oppressed woman who is, of course, African American and not Indian. Okay, guys, don't make fun of her laugh. Don't make fun of her evil cackle. That's mean, and that's the number one thing that you don't want to be is mean, okay? Remember mean tweets. It almost took the entire world down. Came very close. We have Michelle says she's an idiot. Yeah. We need peace says I think she's never cooked a day in her life. Could you imagine if she did cook something and her husband pretending to like it? Oh yeah, thanks, honey. Oh, it's so good. And she's over there cackling at the end of the table. Oh, man. Derek Stark Jr. says, DNC pick is between a brainworm or a camel toe. I mean, if I were the Democrats, I would pick, I'm sure you're referring to RFK Jr. I would pick the brainworm. But the Democrats, or those in charge of the Democratic Party, don't want RFK in there because he's not so easily controlled, even though I think he'd be terrible as well. Stacy Bogert says, Andrew, I love you. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Stacy. I appreciate it. I do my best. Thank you very much. Michelle says, there is not a drop of African American in Kamala Harris. Hey, listen, maybe not now, but I'm pretty certain that Kamala Harris has had a drop of African American in her. Okay. Those are the rumors. I didn't say that. I've just heard rumors, okay? Just saying. Jeremy Brummer in the chat. Thanks for modding, Jeremy. My man says, it has been a blast. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the show. Thank you for hanging out with me this morning. I hope everyone has a fantastic 4th of July. Go out there, hang out with family, hang out with friends, watch some fireworks, eat some barbecue. Like the stream, share the stream, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you on the next one.